They thought you wouldn't survive without their betrayal. That's the cold fact no one wants to say out loud. The enemy believed the lies they spread about you would become your coffin. They assumed if they whispered long enough, loud enough, and dirty enough, the world would swallow their version of your story. But now, look at them, hiding in silence, walking with their heads low, because the same games they played with your name came back like a boomerang, and this time it cut deeper than they ever imagined. That's what karma does. It doesn't ask permission, it doesn't give warnings. It just arrives, collects the debt, and leaves the enemy staggering in disbelief. They thought you wouldn't survive without their betrayal. That's the cold fact no one wants to say out loud. The enemy believed the lies they spread about you would become your coffin. They assumed if they whispered long enough, loud enough, and dirty enough, the world would swallow their version of your story. But now, look at them, hiding in silence, walking with their heads low, because the same games they played with your name came back like a boomerang, and this time it cut deeper than they ever imagined. That's what karma does. It doesn't ask permission, it doesn't give warnings. It just arrives, collects the debt, and leaves the enemy staggering in disbelief. The air around you has shifted. Do you feel it? It's the quiet after the storm. The kind of silence where everyone knows something happened, but nobody wants to say it out loud. The enemies who once laughed loudest are now the ones checking over their shoulder, hoping no one sees how badly they're losing. And you, chosen one, you're standing in that aftermath with strength they never thought you would have. Their weapons are on the ground. Their voices have cracked. And suddenly, the same people who swore they would bury you can't even face you. That's not just coincidence. That's the universe making an example out of them. And before we go any deeper, let me pause for 1 second. If you've ever felt this truth in your own life, if you know this message is for you, press the like button right now and subscribe. That small action is not just support, it's energy, it's alignment, it's paying this message back into the collective. Thank you for being part of this mission. Now let's return to what's unfolding, because it's bigger than revenge, bigger than rumor. This is closure delivered with precision. See, enemies don't believe in limits when they're in the middle of their games. They think humiliation will stick to you forever. They think taking away opportunities, sabotaging your progress, or mocking your silence means they've won. But history proves them wrong every single time. Think about it. How many powerful figures, whether in your own life or in the world, started their downfall the moment they thought they couldn't be touched? The higher they climbed on lies, the harder they crashed when truth came knocking. And here's the brutal truth. Karma doesn't show up when it's convenient for you. It shows up when the enemy is comfortable, when they believe they're safe, when they've convinced themselves you're gone for good. That's when the floor caves in beneath them. Maybe you've seen it already. People who tried to humiliate you suddenly losing their own reputation. People who mocked your struggle now finding themselves begging for sympathy. It looks like bad luck to outsiders, but you and I know it's no accident. That's the universe putting everything back in order and making sure no lesson goes unpaid. Let me give you an example. Remember how in the past there were always those who celebrated too early? Think about the friend who betrayed you, only to be left with no one when the lies came back to choke them. Or the boss who tried to crush your confidence, only to end up exposed in front of the same people they used to impress. That pattern has been repeating since the beginning of time. They think they've taken something from you, but in reality, they've just traded their own peace for temporary satisfaction. And once the scales balance, their pride becomes their punishment. This is why I said this kind of karma is scary, because it doesn't just humble, it humiliates. It doesn't just take something small, it strips away everything they thought was untouchable. Reputation, relationships, money, influence. When they tried to destroy your name, they were really signing a contract with the universe, and the payment is everything they thought they couldn't lose. That's why bystanders look at them now and whisper, they must have messed with the wrong one. Because they did. They touched what they should have never touched. And chosen one, this is where you rise. You don't even need to say a word, because the silence around you is louder than any speech. You've been through the fire, and you came out sharper, calmer, unshaken. They're the ones who can't sleep at night. They're the ones replaying every dirty move they made, wondering how it all collapsed so fast. And deep down, they know. It's not coincidence. It's karma written in bold letters across their life. So get ready, because the story you're about to hear isn't random. It's not just ironic, it's a revelation. This is the universe showing you once again that nothing done against you goes unseen. This isn't karma on delay. This is karma live and direct. The kind that terrifies enemies because it proves they're not in control. And trust me, they learned their lesson. So now let's take this deeper, step by step, because what you're about to hear isn't just a story, it's proof that the universe doesn't play favorites, it plays fair. And if you've ever wondered whether your enemies truly felt the weight of what they did to you, this is where it all comes to light. Drop a comment below with the phrase "lesson learned" if you're ready to watch how their downfall unfolded piece by piece. That's not just an emoji moment. It's you claiming your spot in this collective truth. And listen, if you've stayed with me this far, I already know you're built different. The ordinary person would have clicked away by now, but you, chosen one, you feel the pull, because deep down you know this message is your confirmation. This karma was personal, and the details will sound so familiar it'll almost feel like I'm reading your diary out loud. That's how precise the universe is. So buckle in, because from here on, it only gets more shocking, more undeniable, and more satisfying. And believe me, once you hear it all, you'll never look at karma the same way again. Let's get started. Number 1. They laughed at your scars. Now they're drowning in their own wounds. Funny how the loudest laughers are always the first to choke on their own medicine. They didn't just mock you, they turned your private pain into their public sport. Every tear you shed became a punchline for their entertainment. They whispered behind your back, rolled their eyes at your silence, and acted like your struggle was weakness stamped across your forehead. To them, your brokenness wasn't sacred, it was amusement. But here's the brutal truth. While they were busy laughing at what almost destroyed you, they were writing their own script of downfall, and karma was quietly preparing the stage for their performance. Let's be clear, what you carried wasn't light. The sleepless nights, the aching chest that felt like it would cave in. The moments you wanted to disappear, but still kept moving, still kept breathing. They couldn't have handled a fraction of it. 1 week in your shoes, and they would have begged for mercy. Yet instead of compassion, they chose cruelty. Instead of support, they offered sarcasm. And instead of listening, they turned your silence into evidence against you. But silence isn't weakness. Silence is where strength grows roots. You were grieving, you were rebuilding, you were learning how to keep living after life tried to take you out. Now, look at the reversal. The very storm they mocked has moved into their house, and it's not leaving anytime soon. What once made them laugh now makes them tremble. The heartbreak they joked about, it just ripped their chest open. The loneliness they called pathetic, it's suffocating them now. The mental weight they thought was all in your head, it's the first thing crushing them when they wake up. And here's the most poetic part. This time, their suffering isn't private. It's public. People can see it. People can feel it. The same crowd that once joined in mocking you is now whispering behind their backs, "Damn, they're getting exactly what they dished out." Isn't that scary? Karma doesn't knock softly. It kicks the door off the hinges. It doesn't politely balance the scales. It tilts them so hard that the very people who thought they were untouchable are left crawling on the ground. And, chosen one, here's the satisfaction. You don't even need to clap back. You don't need to expose them. The universe already did it for you, louder than you ever could. Their mask slipped, their cracks are showing, and no amount of fake smiles can cover it up. You might wonder, why now? Why did it take so long for karma to circle back? Because timing is everything. If the universe had punished them too soon, they would have brushed it off as bad luck. But now it's undeniable. The fall is so precise, so poetic, that even they know what's happening. They know this isn't random. They know this is the price of mocking pain they never understood. Let me tell you a story. Years ago, there was someone who laughed at a co-worker for having panic attacks, called them weak, called them dramatic, made jokes at their expense. Months later, that same mocker lost their job, their relationship, and spiraled into the same anxiety they once ridiculed. And you know what? No one around them offered sympathy, because people remembered how cold they had been. That's the cycle. That's what always happens. The laughter fades, the tables turn, and suddenly the comedian becomes the punchline. And don't get it twisted, this isn't about revenge, this is about revelation. The universe doesn't return pain to please you, it returns pain to teach them, to remind them that cruelty is never free, to remind them that mocking someone's storm means you'll one day drown in your own flood. They thought your scars made you less. They thought your silence meant defeat. But your scars are proof you survived, and their silence now is proof they can't handle what they once found funny. So ask yourself, what's really weakness? Is it the one who endured heartbreak and kept moving, or the one who mocked it and now can't get out of bed? Is it the one who survived loneliness and rebuilt themselves from nothing? Or the one who once called you pathetic, now begging for validation just to feel alive? The answer is obvious. The chosen one was never weak. The chosen one was forged in fire. And here's what makes this karma even sharper. When you suffered, you did it quietly. Most people didn't even know the depth of your pain. But when they suffer, it's loud, it's visible, it's embarrassing. Their energy's off, their smiles look forced, their laughter has died. Everyone can see the weight they're carrying, and nobody's cheering them on this time. Because here's the truth, people don't rally around cruelty when it backfires. People step back, watch, and whisper, "That's what happens when you play with fire." Chosen one, don't mistake this as a coincidence. This is proof that nothing you went through was in vain. Every tear you cried became a seed planted in the soil of the universe, and now the harvest has come. They thought they were mocking you, but they were really mocking themselves in the mirror of the future. And that mirror has cracked. Their arrogance has turned into ashes, and their laughter has been silenced by the same darkness they once celebrated. So let them sit in it. Let them taste the medicine they once forced down your throat, because while they're drowning in their own wounds, you're rising higher, lighter, freer. You no longer carry the shame of their mockery. You carry the proof of your survival, and that, chosen one, is the scariest thing for them to watch. Because now they know the very pain they once laughed at became the foundation of your strength and their downfall. It's not just ironic. It's karma in its purest, rawest, most brutal form. Number 2. They threw a curse, and it boomeranged back like a loaded gun they never knew they were holding. The traps they set for you became the pits they're now buried in. They were so sure of themselves, they threw their curses like darts, expecting them to pierce you, to cripple you, to stain your reputation beyond repair. And when nothing touched you, when you stood taller than before, they panicked. Because then, everything started collapsing for them, one thing after another. Like dominoes falling in rapid succession. The money they bragged about vanished overnight. The relationships they flaunted fell apart like glass shattering on stone. Their peace evaporated, and suddenly they were living in constant turbulence, like every day came with a new disaster. Isn't it funny how quickly villains start believing in karma once they're the ones bleeding? At first, they thought it was coincidence, a streak of bad luck maybe, but when every door slammed in their face, when their smiles turned hollow, when their nights became haunted with paranoia, they whispered the only explanation their guilty hearts could come up with. It must be you. You must have sent something back. Imagine that, so confident in their evil, yet so terrified when it ricochets. They whispered in corners, they speculated, they blamed you for their suffering. Because in their mind, you couldn't possibly be that untouchable without casting something back. But here's the irony that burns them alive. You didn't lift a finger, you didn't light a candle, chant a word, or whisper their names in revenge. You didn't have to. What you throw at others will eventually visit your own doorstep. It's not magic, it's mathematics. That's how the universe works. Their curse wasn't intercepted by you, it was rejected by the laws they thought didn't apply to them. They loaded the gun, aimed it at you, and pulled the trigger, only to find the bullet circling back into their own chest. Now let me ask you this, why do you think they're so paranoid now? Why do you think they suddenly started searching online for protection spells, burning sage, carrying crystals, or muttering prayers they never believed in before? Because they feel it. They know deep down that something broke loose the moment they came for you. Imagine this. A thief breaks into a house only to find the door locks behind them, trapping them inside with alarms blaring. That's what happened. They thought they were free to sabotage you, but their own intentions locked them inside a cage of consequences. Energy is like a boomerang. The arc is invisible until it returns and cracks your skull open. They never saw it coming. They assumed karma was slow, like some delayed punishment that maybe they could dodge. They thought if they lied well enough, if they convinced enough people, if they masked their intentions behind fake smiles, they'd get away clean. But energy doesn't respond to the story you tell others. It responds to the truth you carry in your heart, and their truth was poison. It was envy. It was arrogance. It was desperation to see you broken. That poison couldn't find you, so it rotted them instead. Imagine this. Someone pours acid into a cup meant for you, but forgets and drinks it themselves. That's how fast it turned. They crafted curses with such venom that the universe had no choice but to say, "Return to sender." And when it hit them, it wasn't soft. It didn't knock politely. It tore through their lives like wildfire, burning everything they thought was secure. Their money, gone. Their relationships collapsed. Their stability crumbled. And chosen one, isn't that the scariest part for them? They actually believed you were the architect of their downfall. They thought you had to be doing something behind the scenes. Why? Because they underestimated your innocence. They didn't realize that when innocence is attacked, karma doesn't trickle, it erupts. It doesn't just restore balance, it flips the entire table. And now they're sitting in ruins, trying to piece together a puzzle they themselves shattered. The curse wasn't yours to cast, it was theirs to carry. And here's where the motivation comes in for you, chosen one. You didn't need revenge to win. You didn't need to dirty your hands. You simply had to keep walking, keep breathing, keep choosing peace over pettiness. And that's what terrifies them most, because they can't say you cursed them. They can't prove you fought back. All you did was exist, and existing as yourself was enough to expose their darkness. Isn't that power? Isn't that the sweetest victory? Now you might be asking, why did it come back so fast this time? Because their intentions were too focused, too sharp, too wicked. It condensed into a storm that couldn't float in the air. It had to land. And since it couldn't land on you, it landed back on them. That's the part they never expected. They thought they were invincible. They thought their hands could stay clean while their hearts stayed dirty. But now they know every curse has a return address, and theirs was written in ink they can't erase. Imagine this: someone shouts insults into a canyon and the echo comes back louder than their own voice, rattling their bones. That's what's happening to them. Their echo is louder than their original action, and it's haunting them day and night. They walk around like shadows of themselves, second-guessing every step, suspicious of everyone, paranoid of the very energy they unleashed. And you stand tall in the aftermath, untouched. You don't have to defend yourself. The proof is in their downfall. The story speaks for itself. They wanted you to carry the curse, but it became their own cross to bear. And the world is watching. The same people who once laughed with them are now whispering, "Something's wrong." Ever since they came for the chosen one, nothing's been the same. They feared your silence more than any spell, because silence was the shield they couldn't break. So let them spiral. Let them burn sage. Let them mutter empty prayers. Let them blame you for the storm they birthed. Because at the end of the day, they know the truth. They know they cursed themselves. They know they stabbed at shadows and ended up bleeding from their own blade. And that knowledge, that crushing, humiliating awareness, is the real curse. They're not just living through consequences, they're living through a mirror that shows them exactly who they are, architects of their own destruction. And chosen one, that's your victory. You didn't have to fight. You didn't have to lift a hand. The universe fought for you, and it fought in a way that left no doubt. They didn't just lose, they lost control. They didn't just suffer, they suffered publicly, visibly, undeniably. And while they stumble through the ruins of their own curse, you rise untouched, glowing with proof that innocence isn't weakness, it's protection. That's the kind of karma they never saw coming, and now it's too late. Number 3. They tried to pull strings. Now they're hanging by them. The lies they spun became the ropes tightening around their own neck. They thought they were untouchable, the mastermind behind the curtain, the clever genius pulling strings while you danced in confusion. That's how they saw it, smiling in your face while scripting betrayals behind your back. They believed they had every angle covered, every pawn lined up, every story manipulated to perfection. To them, you were nothing more than a piece on their board, a character in their plot. But here's the truth they never accounted for. When you play Puppet Master long enough, the strings start to wrap around your own hands until you're the one who can't move. Imagine this. A spider spinning a web so large it feels invincible, only to get caught in the sticky threads itself, struggling in the very trap it built. That's them now. Their web of lies is collapsing. The people they used are whispering behind their back, comparing notes, connecting dots. Suddenly the grand illusion doesn't look so clever anymore. It looks desperate. And the so-called genius is exposed as nothing more than a manipulator scrambling to hold the mask in place. Manipulation is power borrowed on credit. Sooner or later, the bill comes due. And now the bill is here. The allies they thought were loyal, they're stepping back, realizing they were just pawns. The stories they twisted, they're unraveling faster than they can cover them. Every question feels like a spotlight. Every conversation feels like an interrogation. That paranoia they once planted in your life, it's their reality now. They can't sleep without wondering who's plotting against them. You might be asking, why is this happening now? Because lies have expiration dates. They don't age well. The longer they sit, the more they stink. And once people catch a whiff of deception, they start pulling at the threads. That's exactly what's happening. Their web isn't a fortress, it's a cage. The same stage they built for your downfall has become the theater of their humiliation. And, chosen one, here's the beauty. You didn't have to expose them. The universe did. Their insecurity has become obvious. Their need for control has become their downfall. They're trapped in the narrative they wrote, tangled in the web they wove. And this time, there's no escape hatch. The puppet master has become the puppet, jerking on the strings of fear, paranoia, and self-destruction. Number 4, they wished you ruin and ended up living inside their own curse. Every curse they whispered over you was nothing but a love letter addressed back to themselves. They didn't just dislike you, they were consumed by the thought of seeing you fall. Every conversation became an altar of bitterness. Every late night, every idle thought, every word dripping off their tongue was poisoned with obsession. They turned envy into a ritual, praying for your downfall the way some people pray for rain after a drought. They thought it was justified. They convinced themselves your light was too bright, your peace too undeserved, your blessings too unfair. They wanted your success, but since they couldn't take it, they begged for it to burn. Hatred disguised as prayer is still hatred, and the universe does not confuse the two. And here's the terrifying truth. They actually believed their words carried weight against you, but the universe doesn't answer names. It answers motives. You can't wrap a rotten heart in holy language and expect it to blossom. So, while they begged for your failure, they weren't aligning with your downfall. They were aligning with their own destruction. Every bitter word was a seed, but they planted it in their own garden. And now the harvest is coming up rotten, choking their life with weeds of confusion, loss, delay, and isolation. Imagine this. Someone digging a grave for you only to slip into it themselves because the ground beneath their own feet collapsed first. That's exactly what's happening. The very prayers they thought would strip you are the ones stripping them. They whispered, "I hope they lose everything." And the universe answered, "Noted, you just claimed that fate." The mirror doesn't lie, it just shows them what they put out. And now they're panicking, they're blaming bad luck, they're accusing jealous friends, they're even calling it spiritual warfare. But deep down, they know those so-called prayers weren't prayers at all. They were curses. Their own tongue set the trap, and their own energy pulled the trigger. So, chosen one, hear this. You didn't have to fight. You didn't have to clap back. You stayed pure, and purity is its own shield. They're not living through punishment. They're living through reflection. And the reflection is brutal. Everything they wished for you is the reality they can't escape. Number 5. They tried to bury you, but dug a coffin for their own ambition. You can't climb higher by cutting someone else's ladder. It only leaves you stranded where you started. They believed erasing you would clear the runway for their own takeoff. To them, your presence was the obstacle, your success the shadow blocking their shine. So they schemed. They whispered lies in dark corners. They formed alliances built on jealousy. They treated your downfall like a business plan, thinking that if you collapsed, they would finally rise. But what they didn't realize was this. Tearing down someone else doesn't build you up. It builds the wall that blocks your own path. At first, it looked like they won. A little recognition here, some applause there. For a moment, they thought the sabotage worked. But success built on sabotage is like a house built on sand. It never lasts. Soon, the cracks started showing. Partnerships dissolved. Money slipped through their fingers. Every opportunity turned to dust. And the haunting part? Nothing external caused it. This was the harvest of their own intentions. You can't plant destruction in someone else's garden and expect flowers to bloom in yours. Imagine this, a thief who steals bricks from your foundation to build their own castle, only to watch their walls crumble because every stone carries the weight of guilt. That's exactly what's happening. They tried to elevate themselves on your pain, but all they found was exhaustion, stagnation, and paranoia. The applause stopped. The spotlight dimmed. And now they're left alone with the truth. They sabotaged you, but in reality, they sabotaged themselves. And here's the question that eats at them. Why does nothing stick? Why does every plan collapse? The answer is simple, because ambition mixed with hate is poison. You can't erase someone innocent and expect blessings to follow. They cursed their own path the moment they targeted yours. The hole they dug to bury you became the pit their own dreams are rotting in. So, chosen one, don't mistake their downfall for coincidence. This is justice unfolding. Their progress froze because their heart was dirty, their path paralyzed because their motives were corrupt. And now they sit in the silence of their failure, haunted by the reality that destroying you never lifted them. It only destroyed them. Number 6. They painted you the villain, but the mask fell off them instead. The lies they told about you became the mirrors that exposed them. They didn't just gossip, they waged war on your character. They didn't slip up once or twice. They built entire campaigns around your name. Whisper networks, group chats, late-night phone calls dripping with poison. They turned people against you like it was their full-time job, crafting narratives that made you the villain in stories you weren't even there to defend. And for a while, it worked. People pulled away, friends grew distant. The air shifted when you walked into rooms. You felt it. The side eyes, the whispers, the silence where laughter used to be. Smear campaigns always start loud, but truth always finishes louder. Here's the twist they never prepared for. Lies have short legs. They don't run far before they trip over themselves. Over time, the same people who believed their stories started noticing patterns. The problem, you supposedly were. Somehow the accuser had that same problem with everyone else too. The toxic label they threw at you. It circled back and stuck to them. Slowly, their credibility cracked. No receipts were needed. No defense was required. The universe simply peeled back the layers and the mask slipped. Imagine this. Someone spends years throwing mud at your wall only to realize they're the one standing covered in filth. That's what's happening now. The people who once looked at you with doubt are looking at you differently. Their eyes are softer. Some are embarrassed. Some are guilty. Because deep down, they know they played along. They didn't ask for your side. They didn't give you a chance. They just believed the wrong voice. Time doesn't just reveal truth. It humiliates lies. And now those same people are living with the weight of regret. They're ashamed of how easily they were manipulated. They're replaying the moments they laughed at you, doubted you, or spread what they heard, wishing they could take it back. But you don't even need their apology. Your peace speaks for you. Your growth has become your rebuttal. So, chosen one, understand this. You were never the villain. You were the target. And now the very crowd that once doubted you is realizing they bet against the wrong soul. Their silence now isn't ignorance. It's guilt. They see the truth, and it's choking them. Number 7. They laughed at your rock bottom. Now their foundation is cracking beneath them. The same mouths that mocked your struggle are now choking on their own collapse. They didn't just witness your suffering, they celebrated it. When you were at your lowest, when heartbreak, sickness, or even homelessness tried to suffocate you, they didn't offer compassion. They turned your pain into punchlines. They passed your struggles around like cheap gossip, pretending to pity you in public while laughing behind closed doors. Some even called it karma, smugly saying you got what you deserved. But let's be honest, they weren't celebrating justice. They were celebrating what they thought was your ending. Evil doesn't laugh because you're weak. It laughs because it mistakes your reset for ruin. What they never admitted is how much they envied you, even at your lowest. Imagine that, you, broken but still shining. Even in survival mode, you carried a presence, a resilience, a light they couldn't smother. That irritated their demons. Your strength in weakness was a mirror exposing their emptiness in abundance. They felt taller when you looked small, safer when you looked broken. They loved the illusion of power your pain gave them. But here's the twist. They confused preparation with punishment. While they laughed at your storm, the universe was quietly rewriting your story. Your suffering was molding you, not destroying you. And now the shift is here. Slowly, their stability is evaporating. The money they bragged about is slipping away. The relationships they flaunted are cracking under pressure. Their energy feels cursed, their peace non-existent, and the fear in their eyes. It's the same fear they once tried to plant in yours. They mocked your trial, forgetting trials always end with testimony. And you, chosen one, you know this pattern. You've seen this movie before. This isn't bad luck for them. This is balance. The same ones who laughed while you were tested are now exposed in their own collapse. They're begging for healing in the silence they once mocked, crying out for stability in the chaos they once cheered on. The universe isn't cruel, it's fair. You didn't need revenge. You didn't need curses. Their arrogance wrote the ending for them, and now everything they built on your downfall is crumbling into dust. Their laughter has gone silent, replaced by fear, and every brick of their false stability is turning back to ashes. Number 8. They tried to play creator. Now they're drowning in silence. When you try to script someone else's destiny, you erase the lines of your own. They didn't just cross you, they tried to control you. They wanted to hold the pen to your story, to dictate how far you could go, who would stand with you, and what doors would open in your life. They thought if they manipulated enough, whispered enough, and blocked enough, they could play God in your world. They tampered with things that weren't theirs to touch, moving like self-appointed gatekeepers of your path. But here's the problem with pretending to be divine. You always get exposed as human. Manipulators think they're in control until life reminds them they were never on the throne. They didn't trust the natural order. They didn't respect alignment. They wanted your journey on their terms. They spread lies to rewrite your image. They interfered with timing that was never theirs to manage. They moved with arrogance, believing their influence could override the universe's design. And for a while, it seemed like their tricks were working. But destiny isn't fragile. It doesn't bend forever. Now the silence has caught up with them, heavy, haunting silence. They pray, but nothing stirs. They ask, but doors stay locked. They hustle, but everything slips through their hands. It's not bad luck, it's consequence. When you try to hijack another person's path, you forfeit your own. Imagine someone blocking the sunlight from another's garden, only to discover their own crops withering in the shade. That's their reality now, spiritual exile, disconnected, dry. Every move feels forced, every plan feels stuck. The same pride that made them think they could play God is the same pride leaving them stranded, powerless, voiceless. And the silence isn't a test, it's an answer. It's life saying, you tried to control what wasn't yours, so now nothing responds to you. And chosen one, let this sink in. While they stumble in silence, you're still rising. They tried to sit on a throne that wasn't theirs, and in the process, they lost their place in their own story. That is a loss no manipulation can ever recover. Number 9, they fed darkness against you. Now it's devouring them from the inside. The demons they unleashed didn't find you, they found their master. They didn't just envy you, they didn't just gossip, they crossed the line into obsession so deep it rotted their soul. When lies failed and sabotage didn't break you, they reached for something darker. They lit candles in secret. They whispered your name into rituals. Some paid for spells, readings, curses, whatever they thought could block your blessings or bend your path. Others did it themselves, scribbling petitions against your life, calling on forces they didn't even understand. In their arrogance, they thought playing with shadows would erase your light. Dark energy is like fire. Whoever plays with it will eventually get burned. And for a moment, it looked like they won. Maybe you felt drained. Maybe your sleep was restless, your spirit heavy, your path full of strange setbacks. You couldn't explain the sudden weight, the unexplained losses, the chaos that didn't make sense. But what they didn't know is that your protection runs deeper than their chance. Their darkness could brush against you, but it could never consume you. So the energy circled. It searched for weakness. Finding none, it turned back home with interest. Now they're unraveling. Their nights are haunted by shadows. Their homes don't feel safe. Their minds are restless, paranoid, plagued with breakdowns they can't explain. They're jumping at whispers in empty rooms, carrying fear in their chest that won't let them breathe. The same forces they summoned for power are now their cellmates, refusing to leave. This isn't imagination, it's infestation. When you open doors through hate, you don't control who walks through them. That's the truth they never understood. Spiritual law doesn't bend for envy. You cannot send destruction without eventually sitting at the same table you prepared, and now the feast is theirs to eat. Fear, sickness, chaos, mental torment. No sage can clear it. No crystal can contain it. They've bound themselves to the very energy they thought would destroy you. And chosen one, this is not your doing. This is their choice echoing back. They ignored every warning, every whisper of conscience, every sign telling them to stop. They chased a false victory, and now they're prisoners of the very darkness they hired. Their downfall isn't random, it's repayment. Number 10. They mocked your quiet. Now your glow has blinded them. Silence isn't weakness, it's the sound of someone reloading. They thought your meekness meant you had no fight. They mistook your humility for fear. The way you chose peace over drama, the way you walked away instead of clapping back, the way you stayed calm while your name was dragged. They assumed it meant you were powerless. To them, your silence was surrender, your patience was proof you were finished. But silence isn't surrender, it's strategy. Never mistake still waters for shallow ones. The depth will drown you. While they laughed at your quiet, you were building. While they mocked your absence, you were healing. Day by day, you stitched wounds they thought would leave you scarred forever. You processed pain they assumed would turn you bitter. You chose growth where they expected ruin. And now, you're glowing. Not the kind of glow they can mimic with filters or fake smiles, but a glow that comes from resilience, from survival, from peace they can't buy or fake. And it terrifies them. They see you online, and your joy stings their spirit. They hear your name, and it tastes like guilt in their mouth. When they pass you, they feel judgment radiating from your presence. Not because you judge them, but because you exist as living proof that their hate failed. The light they tried to snuff out became the fire that burns their illusions. You are their punishment. Every smile you flash, every win you claim, every ounce of peace you radiate, it all reminds them that they lost. You are untouchable now, and that bothers them more than if you had fought back. Because you didn't have to smear them, you didn't have to clap back, you didn't have to dirty your hands, and yet you're winning. Their greatest fear isn't that you survived, it's that you rose higher than ever without them. Every time they see your glow, it exposes their failure. Every time they watch you thrive, it proves their hate had no power. And that's the cruelest twist of all. The weak one they laughed at became the unstoppable force they never saw coming. Number 11. They stole from your soul. Now their sanity is slipping away. When you rob a pure heart, the price isn't paid in money, it's paid in peace. They didn't just hurt you, they trespassed somewhere sacred. They took your trust and twisted it. They fed off your kindness while mocking it in private. They used your loyalty like a blade and cut you with it. What they stole wasn't material. It was a piece of your soul, your innocence, your vulnerability, that unguarded part of you that believed in them. And when they were done, they left you to drown in silence, confusion, and heartbreak, acting as if they had walked away clean. But nothing about their escape was clean. The universe doesn't let theft of the soul slide. What they thought was victory became the seed of their unraveling. At first, it was subtle. Their joy didn't feel as bright. Their timing felt off. Life lost its natural rhythm. But soon, the cracks widened. Their sleep grew restless, their thoughts got heavy, their spirit turned cloudy. They couldn't explain it, but everything started to feel harder than it used to. You can't rip pages out of someone else's story without losing chapters in your own. Now their life feels like a haunted maze, surrounded by people, yet lonelier than ever, chasing pleasures that no longer satisfy, running after distractions but finding only emptiness. Even victories feel hollow, because deep inside they know something valuable is missing. They thought they could take from you and move on, but they didn't realize the soul keeps score. Imagine someone stealing the sun from another's sky, only to wake up and realize their own world has gone dim. That's their reality now. They lost more than your presence. They lost the version of themselves that only existed when you were in their life. The cost of betraying a pure soul is sanity itself. Chosen one, remember this. You may have been wounded, but you weren't destroyed. They took from you, yes, but the universe made sure they paid the price. And while you rebuild, they wander through the ruins of their own mind, burdened by the knowing that what they lost can never return. That's the real punishment. Number 12. They tried to bury truth, but time turned into a loudspeaker. Lies may sprint for a season, but truth always owns the finish line. They thought time would cover their tracks, that if they stayed quiet long enough, smiled big enough, and kept close to the right people, their betrayal would fade into history. They counted on your silence being the cement that sealed their lies. To them, time was their ally, a shield that would bury what they did to you under layers of distraction and distance. But here's the twist they never saw coming. Time isn't neutral. Time doesn't protect lies. Time exposes them. Slowly, cracks began to form, not because you spoke, but because deception always leaks. Their mask grew heavy. Their rehearsed stories began to falter. People started to notice the inconsistencies, the tension in their tone, the way their presence felt off. Truth doesn't need your defense. It just needs patience. At first, it was subtle. A glance here, a shift in energy there. Friends who once championed them started pulling back. Whispers replaced applause. Their name, once welcomed, now left a bitter taste. What they thought would fade with time instead grew louder, sharper, undeniable. Time had become the truth's microphone, amplifying every fracture in their facade. Imagine someone burying dynamite in the dirt, believing it would stay hidden, only for time itself to light the fuse. That's what's happening. Every passing day makes the truth harder to ignore, harder to deny, harder to escape. Their reputation is unraveling thread by thread. Their charm feels forced, their influence hollow. Even strangers sense the misalignment in their spirit. You can fake smiles, but you can't fake energy, and energy never lies. Now they're suffocating under their own performance, not because you exposed them, but because truth refuses to stay buried. Time has turned on them. What once felt like safety is now the very tool dismantling their image. And here's the cruelest irony. They thought silence would protect them, but silence became their executioner. Chosen one, let this be your reminder. You never needed revenge. Time itself was working in your favor. Lies rot in the dark, but truth breathes forever. And now, the clock that once comforted them is the same clock counting down their exposure. Number 13. They tried to erase you, but life marked you for royalty. They buried your name in whispers, but the crown was already waiting on your head. They didn't just dislike you, they waged war on your existence. Every rumor, every fake display of sympathy, every crocodile tear was part of a coordinated campaign to make you vanish. Group chats full of lies, side conversations dripping with poison, smiles in public, daggers in private. Their goal wasn't disagreement, it was erasure. They wanted you forgotten, irrelevant, erased from your own story. But here's the truth they couldn't handle. You were never chosen by them, so you could never be dismissed by them. Your worth was never up for their vote. Your presence didn't depend on their applause. Your light wasn't powered by their acceptance. That's why their tactics failed. They thought they could cancel you, but all they did was confirm your importance. Purpose can't be buried. It only grows stronger under the weight of dirt. And now the reversal is on full display. Their once loud lives are dimming. The praise they lived for has gone silent, replaced by whispers of suspicion. The very rooms they thought they owned are quietly pushing them out. Meanwhile, you, yes, the one they plotted to erase, are stepping into rooms they swore would never know your name. Not by force, not by manipulation, by alignment, by justice. Imagine this: they slammed doors in your face, only to find those same doors unlocking for you with no effort at all. That's the power of life's balance. They wanted you small, but life positioned you high. They wanted you silenced, but your name carries further than their lies ever could. They wanted you gone, but now every attempt to erase you has backfired into evidence of your endurance. When life decides to crown someone, no smear campaign can dethrone them. Chosen one, understand this. They didn't fail because they were weak. They failed because you are unerasable. They underestimated alignment, underestimated resilience, underestimated how truth always resurrects. And now, you are rising, crowned not by their approval, but by the justice of the universe itself. Your glow is louder than their gossip, and your victory is heavier than their schemes. They wanted you erased. Instead, you were crowned, and that crown is the proof that no weapon formed against you was ever strong enough to win. Number 14. They mocked the wrong soul. Now their prayers echo in silence. The laugh they threw at you was the seed of their own downfall. They thought you were just another target, just another name to drag through the dirt, another broken soul to laugh at. But they miscalculated. They mocked the wrong one. They didn't realize your story was protected, your path aligned, your battles recorded in ways they couldn't begin to understand. They thought they were clever, the side eyes, the jokes, the casual cruelty passed around like entertainment. But cruelty isn't clever. It's a test. And they failed. Now their mockery has turned into a prison. Every cruel word they once tossed so easily now echoes back in their own reality. Doors that used to swing open have slammed shut. Opportunities slip through their fingers. Their minds are heavy. Their energy feels cursed. And when they finally bow their head in desperation, all they hear is silence. The cost of dishonor isn't thunder, it's absence. That silence is louder than punishment. It's not revenge, it's correction, a divine timeout. They didn't just mistreat a person, they mishandled a sacred test. Where they could have chosen humility, they chose pride. Where they could have offered mercy, they chose mockery. And now they're living in the consequence of their own arrogance. Imagine someone laughing so loudly at another's storm that they don't notice the flood rising at their own feet. That's their reality. Their victories feel empty. Their applause feels hollow. Even in rooms full of people, they feel utterly alone. Because deep down, they know. They remember the exact moment they chose to laugh at you, blind to the fact they were laughing at their own collapse. The joke always turns cruelest on the one who started it. And you were never the fool. You were the revealer. Their treatment of you exposed the cracks in their character, and now life has magnified those cracks into chasms. While they drown in shadows they summoned, you rise in a light they can't touch. Your crown wasn't given by man. It was forged in fire, protected by purpose, and placed where no smear campaign could reach. This isn't a comeback. This is justice in real time. The same ones who once mocked your fall are now haunted by your rise. Let them sit in the silence they created. You keep glowing, keep rising, keep walking forward, because their laughter wrote their ending and your resilience wrote your reign. And so, chosen ones, this is where the circle closes. Every scheme, every lie, every laugh, they all came back home to the ones who started them. What felt like your ending was only the setup for their exposure and your rise.